Mr. Page, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Charm City. Good morning. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City proceedings will begin. The board is now in session. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, preliminary matters on today's docket. Case number 4, Penthouse Club, 615 Fallsway, postponed. Case number 6, Nobles Bar and Grill, 1024 South Charles Street, postponed. Those cases will be called at a later time and date. I call the case Winston Lounge Bar and Grill, 2343 East Monument Street. Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license, here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on August the 9th, 2023. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky, representing the licensee who's with me here today.
Good morning, Mr. Kadensky. Is this going to be an admission or denial?
It'll be an admission.
Okay. Do you want them sworn, or are you going to proffer?
I'm just
Let me just swear everybody just
Yeah,
for the...
raise your right hand, it'd be nice.
Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
This was an event, they were having a private event at the place. They have to close at 10 o'clock there anyhow because of the restriction on the license. There were a bunch of people that were milling around, and the person who was working on the side where they were buying packaged food just didn't check the cards. I'm assuming this is the cadet here.
Yes.
Oh, is he back there? And they were at fault, and they haven't been before the board before. They're going to have their people retrained, so they check everybody no matter what, even if it's a private event. They thought somebody was in there with the event, but it was not.
Okay, Inspector Tuttle, were they cooperative with you?
Yes, sir, very.
Okay. Okay, commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right. Thank you, then. On the basis, then, of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel, which included an admission, I find a violation of Rule 4.01, small a, sale to minor, on August 9, 2023. It's the first violation for this licensee. She's had the license since 2022. I'd impose a $500 fine and give her 30 days to pay.
Yes, based on the testimony provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 4.01A, sale to minors on August 9th, 2023, with a fine of $500.
Based on the violation report, the proffer made by counsel and admission made today, I also find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on August 9th, 2023, issue a $500 fine and 30 days of pay.
Ms. Russell?
I close the business for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Jordan.
I thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Be careful.
El Dragon Sports Bar and Restaurant, 200 South Haven Street, Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license, here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on October the 19th, 2023. Please come forward.
Good
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This will be an admission.
Okay. You want to identify yourself for the
Yes,
record, Mr.
Thank
Fogelman?
you. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the licensees.
Admitting as to both?
Yes.
Okay. You want to, well, she's under oath. Let's swear your client.
Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Sherman.
You want to proffer for us?
Yeah, very briefly. This establishment has been, it's been very popular as far as liquor board involvement over the years. Back in my olden days, when they first gave us Blackberries, like every night, 200 South Haven would come up. It would come up for, it would come up for opening after hours. It would come up for illegal live entertainment. It would come up for fighting out front. Mr. Sharma bought this establishment, improved the security greatly, and is getting ready to sell it. So getting to what you're looking to hear, this was a situation where the bartender, I'm sorry, I want to say Montoya, is, fails at the final point of compliance when it comes to serving an alcoholic beverage to a minor. In this case, it looks like it was 2 cadets. The manager on that evening was relatively new and did not have access to a key to open the personnel file. Mr. Sharmas provided me with the employee information for all of the people who were there that night, but that was an oversight. This bar, like I say, even as late as 2002, was involved in a situation where there was fights outside. It was open after hours. The owner got hit in the face with some kind of mace-like substance. So the acquisition or the use of this security company has really quieted down the situation over there. But that doesn't excuse for the noncompliance with respect to the 401A and the lack of access to the employee records by the inspectors at the time of the incident. So, as I mentioned right at the beginning, there is a transfer hearing pending for this location. The Sharmas have highly encouraged the applicants to maintain the professional security that has been in place since they started this venture or agreed to take over this venture. So with that, we'll submit.
Okay. Inspector, do you have anything to add?
No,
No, they were very cooperative.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
no questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fogelman, on the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel, including the admissions of the 2 violations and the testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.01, small a, sale to minor on October 19, 2023, and a violation of Rule 3.03, small c, records employees on October 19, 2023. Had the license for 2 years. This is their 3rd time back on this. I'd impose a $1,000 fine as to the first violation, a $500 fine as to the second violation, and give them 30 days to pay.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, based on testimony provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 4.01A, sale to minors on October 19th, 2023, with a fine of $1,000, and a violation of Rule 3.03C, records of the employees on October 19th, 2023, with a fine of $500.
Based on the violation report, it's here in the record, the proffer made by counsel, that thank you for the admission made today also. I too agree with Mr. Chairman and find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minor, and also agree that there's a violation of Rule 3.03C, records employees, both on October 19, 2023. You have $1,000 fine for the first violation, a $500 fine for the second violation, and 30 days to pay also.
Ms. Russell?
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Tudhope.
Thank you, Mr. Fogelman.
Thank you.
Good luck
Thank
to
you
you.
all.
Thank you.
Mr. Joe's Bar and Cut Rate, 1-3 South Highland Avenue, Class BD7, Beer 1 and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on October the 19th, 2023. Mr. Chairman.
For the record, I'm Melvin J. Kadensky, representing the licensees here.
Admission or denial, Mr. Kaminsky?
This would be an admission.
Okay, want to tell us what happened?
Well, unfortunately, this is the place that's been here a couple times. You've seen them, and they're trying to get some younger people involved, and they were trying to train some new employees. Unfortunately, the person who was training a new employee left the person there by themselves, and they didn't check the cards, and they're now in the process of making sure that no matter what happens, they're going to put big signs up. All people must show ID. They had gotten some times when the Department of Health came in about selling cigarettes. When they passed the test where they didn't, they checked everybody. But unfortunately, in this case, they didn't do it. So, I mean, I don't want to try to make more of it than it really is, but they're in the process now of getting new employees and getting everybody trained to go forward.
Inspector, any problems?
No, they were very cooperative.
Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. Based on the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel, including the admission of the violation and the testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sale to minor on October 19, 2023. They've had this license since 2015. This is their 5th time for a sale to minor. I'd impose a $1,500 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
Yes, based on the testimony provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 4.01A, sale to minors, on October 19th, 2023, with a fine of $1,500.
Based on the violation report, proffer made by counsel, admission made today, I also too find the violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minor. I'll issue a $1,500 fine, 30 days to pay, but I just want to let the licensee know that this is the 5th violation. So I think that we were very lenient with the $1,500 fine.
Yeah, you won't have the license very long if you come back again. Ms. Russell?
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit Number 1, violation report, Inspector Jordan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This case number 4 was postponed. We'll now move to case number 5, 2 East Wells Street, Suite 116, Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on October the 19th, 2023. 2 East Wells.
Ms. Russell, do we have service on the licensee?
We do.
Okay. Inspector?
Do you just want me to read the report?
Yeah, or just tell us.
Okay. On October 19th at approximately 7:30 p.m., Baltimore City Liquor Inspectors Jordan and Tuttle, along with members of the Baltimore City Sheriff's Office, including Sheriff Cadets Wiseman and Goff, both of whom at the time were under the age of 21. Cadet Goth entered the establishment and purchased a Jack Daniels with cola for $13 in total from the store, from the employee. He paid for it. He received the drink, and at that time he told the
Excuse me one second. I didn't hear this. Oh, no. Once he's under oath, that's fine. Okay, I'm sorry.
okay. Mr. Cadet Goff paid for the alcohol at the price of $13. The marked bill was accepted and processed the sale and returned the change to Cadet Goff along with the alcohol beverage. The cadet notified the task force that he had made the purchase. We went inside and informed them that they had made a sale and proceeded to give the violation. They were very cooperative.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No question.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging document and the testimony from Inspector Tudhope, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sale to minor on October 19, 2023. This is the first violation for this licensee who has only had the license for less than a year but has failed to appear. I would impose a $1,000 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
Based on the testimony provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 4.01A, sale to minors, October 19th, 2023, with a fine of $1,000.
Based on the violation report and the testimony given by Inspector today, I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on October 19, 2023, issue a $1,000 fine and 30 days of pay.
Ms. Russell?
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Tudhope.
Thank you.
As number 6 has been postponed, we'll move to case number 7, Uptown Bar, 1901 Edmondson Avenue, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.18A, alterations on September the 15th, 2023. Violation of Rule 4.20C, prohibited activities by license type, Class BD7 licenses, open and operating cavern at all times on September the 15th, 2023. Mr. Chairman.
For the record, again, Melvin J. Kanensky, 320 North Charles Street, representing the licensee.
Good morning. Could I have both parties sworn, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Admission or denial?
Well, we make an admission to the fact that the bar was not open when the liquor store was open. The alterations, I think he has an explanation on that.
Okay. You want to have him testify?
Our client?
Yes.
And is this Mr. Ronablat?
He's the manager there. State your full name for the
If you
record.
could spell it.
My name?
Yes, please.
It's Manish, Manish. That's my first name. My last name is Khadka. Khadka.
And you're the manager there, is that correct?
yep.
And you were in charge, you were there when the agents came in, is that correct?
I wasn't there, but one of my other partner, my co-owner was there.
Now, your alterations that were occurring, were you doing anything new, or were they just replacing the tops and the floor that was there?
I'm not making anything bigger or anything like that. I'm just replacing old one with a new one.
And you had permits, you filed for permits to do that?
I filed for the permit for that one.
All right, so that,
Did you have the permits?
Yeah, I do have the permit right now.
Did you have them on September 15th?
No, the day when the inspector came in for inspection, I didn't have that time, but next day I had the permit ready for me.
you have that with you, right?
Yeah, I have it with me right
Well,
now.
let me take a look at it. It's a nice one, get some evidence that's in your favor.
What's the date on it?
I knew you would ask that. It's hard to tell here. Well, it wasn't the date they were there, so, I mean, we'll make an admission on that. That was 9/18/23.
Okay, so it was 3 days later. All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Agent, you want to tell us what happened?
On September 15, 2023, at approximately 4:01 p.m., I, Agent Clark, conducted an inspection at 1901 Edmondson Avenue at the establishment known as Uptown Bar. For the reason renovations were completed without board approval. Upon arrival at the establishment, Agent Clark made contact with Mr. Keith Love, who stated he was owner of the establishment, and Manish Khadka, who was on the phone. This guy. I, Agent Clark, entered the establishment and observed that the inside area had been completely renovated in the front, and the new bar area was being built in the back with no sinks and no bar at the time of inspection. Agent Clark asked Mr. Love to see all permits. Mr. Love did provide a document from the permit doctor company, but could not provide city permits at the time of inspection. Upon further review, owners Love and Khadka from the establishment did not seek approval for renovations from the BLLC, and in addition, a violation for the BD7 not operating as a tavern. Myself, Agent Clark, issued the establishment a violation for renovation without liquor board approval, and a violation for the BD7 not operating as a tavern, and I left without further incident.
Okay. So, Mr. Page, may I just ask you if they are making renovations that are merely replacement, do they require some formal authorization from us?
They should receive a letter of approval from the board for any type of alterations.
I think the question was if for whatever reason, you take this top off and you put another top on, you have to ask approval. I'm saying they're not making any.
Thank you for clarifying my question. But that was essentially my question. If you are really doing replacements, do you need to have authorization?
The board has always taken the position such a major alterations that alter the square footage, the size, the bar space.
So I guess it's a matter of what one person considers a major renovation.
Correct, Mr. Chairman.
And to you, Agent, they look like they were major renovations?
Well, I could say one thing. I did go back on December 28, 2023. The new sinks look really nice that they have in the back. It needed help, but yes, I think that there was a new front with the bulletproof windows that were in the front going towards the back. The bar, like as he said, was a new top on the bar, but they did have new sinks. However, the tavern still wasn't in operation.
I understand. Do you need this? I'll hold it in evidence, but if you need it, you can permit it. I'll give it back
Just
to you.
that, you're saying yes, or you're saying?
You can have it.
Oh,
There you
okay, all right, we'll make it part of the record. Thank you. Okay, anything further?
No, just a question of whether it was an alteration or replacement. I understand that there's no indication the place is making bigger or smaller, whatever it was. As far as not being open, we admit that. I can't argue that.
I'm going to pass that to Stacy. Commissioners have any questions?
That one, just a statement, I mean, I was going to state that, reading this, it said the establishment observed that the interior had been completely renovated, but they also add that at the front, but they also add a new bar area was being built in the back with no sinks and no bar at the time of inspection, correct?
Correct.
Okay, they didn't notify or get authority from the liquor board about that?
No, they did not, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And the new sinks that you saw, were those the sinks that replaced the area that had no sinks earlier?
Correct, right. They had previous sinks there, me inspecting the establishment prior. As I went back and looked in the back area, there were these new sinks, like little mini 3 sinks that were put there, so they were brand new as well. They were
Are they now in a position where they can operate properly as a BD7?
absolutely, so it looks very nice in there. Yep.
All right. Do you have anything, Commissioner? Okay, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel, which included an admission of the Rule 4.20C violation, testimony received. The licensees had this license for a year and a half or something, and they may not have understood with this renovation what authorization was required. So I'd give them a pass on the alteration this time, but I do find a violation of Rule 4.20 small c, prohibited activities, on September 15, 2023. I'd impose a $500 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
Okay, I agree, based on the testimony provided today, I agree with the chair of findings, which says no fine on violation of 4.18, correct, Mr.
I didn't
Chairman?
actually find a violation there. I'm going to I would dismiss that violation.
Okay, so it's a
With the
dismissal.
understanding that it was a misunderstanding. I think in the future, if you're going to make any kind of alterations, you're going to need our authorization. I hope you understand that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. And in regards to violation of Rule 4.20C, prohibit activities by license type Class BD7 license, open and operating taverns at all time on September the 15th. I agree with the chair on the fine of $500.
Based on the violation report, proffer made by counsel, testimony given today, I do agree also on Rule 4.18A. To dismiss that, I do believe it was a misunderstanding, and the alterations made were just bringing the same items up to par. But when it comes to the admission that was made on Rule 4.20C, I do agree that there was a violation and issue a $500 fine and 30 days to pay.
Thank you, Ms. Russell.
Thank you, Exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Agent Clark. Board Exhibit 2, housing permit issue 9/18/23.
All right, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
The Avenue Kitchen and Bar, 911 West 36th Street, Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license, here for violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, on October the 26th, 2023. Violation of Rule 3.02, Cooperation, October the 26th, 2023. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the licensee. I usually turn my phone to vibrate. Sometimes I forget. Today, I just turned it off completely. The second I walked out of this building, I turned it on, and I've got an urgent appeal from the licensee here for a postponement. The licensee is ill, and the nature of the illness would prove very, very unbeneficial for him to appear in front of us today.
I understand. this is not involving the cadets, is it? No. All right. The commissioners have any objection if we continue it?
No objection.
Okay. Let's continue this case to the next violation docket.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, Commissioners. Appreciate it.
Moving to case number 9 on the docket, Dream at Legacy Bar and Bistro, 10 South Calvert Street, Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license, here for violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, on October the 29th, 2023. Mr. Chairman.
Oh, did we?
He's here.
Oh, okay. So we had the fire department personnel here. Ms. Knesset,
For the record, Melvin J. Kaninsky representing the licensee. Let's,
you going to admit or deny?
Let's take some testimony. I think it might
That's
be able to
fine.
clear it up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's, everyone who's here, sir, come forward. Please raise your right hands if you haven't been sworn.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do.
All right, Ms. Knesset, why don't you question your witnesses? You want us to go first? We might as well. Yes, it's our burden. Agent.
Yes.
You know, you caught me off guard.
The fire department, I mean, I know you called him down here. He was the person that was on the scene before your agents came there, so maybe we,
Shall we start? I think I
Yeah.
should start with him.
Okay, so,
Your name, sir, Mr. Tonneson?
that's
Did I
exactly
pronounce it
right.
Okay. And what is your position with the fire department?
so I've been in the fire department 15 years. The last 5.5, I've been a fire marshal, fire inspector, and we work underneath the fire marshal as a whole.
And
So we
you
represent them.
were you present at the 10 South Calvert on October 29?
Yes.
All right, you want to tell us what you observed?
So when I got there, we actually were there for 10 and 12. It was just a lot of people crowding because it was a holiday
You mean
weekend.
10 and 12 South Calvert?
Yes, I'm sorry,
Okay.
10 and 12. Because it was just a lot of people, it was a holiday weekend, everybody wants to have a good time and all. So I called there, and I walked in, and as soon as I walk in, it's a sense of, it's not safe, right? So there's standards, how you do your job, right? And there's also a feeling you have. When something go wrong, you don't want that ever having to go wrong. Just too many people smoking. I'm not going to say if it was marijuana or cigarettes, but it was illegal burning in buildings is not allowed. No outside burning or anything. Now, it wasn't out of control, but when I got upstairs, it was just too many people upstairs too. The stairways were full of people. And right there, I can't let that go because it's unsafe conditions. I don't want to go home that night and worry if I didn't do my job, someone gets hurt, someone gets pushed down the steps, or they can't get out. So right there, I said it's unsafe conditions. I need to shut it down tonight because I don't want to let that happen. I don't want anybody to get hurt. The owner, the people who are coming to have a good time, myself, fire department, police, anything. So when I left, I went next door too. Another guy on my crew pulled up. His name's Lieutenant Del Holmes. I went next door at 12 now. I did the same thing. Overcrowding, too many people, it's unsafe conditions. When I came back out, my Lieutenant Del Holmes, I think this gentleman signed it. So I'm the one who officially shut him down, but my lieutenant actually had him sign this paper. So my
And
name
who-
will not be
who
on this
signed it?
paper.
The licensee?
It's his, I don't know if that's your signature?
yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm not the actual one who wrote this.
Right, I
My
understand.
lieutenant did.
Okay.
But I did make the call.
And this was at about midnight, is that right?
It could have been right around midnight, yeah.
Our agent's report says 12 a.m., so,
Yeah,
Could have been
that's
right
the
around
time we
that time.
reported there. They were there, as my report states.
okay. Mr. Knesset, you have questions for
Yeah,
Mr.
you
Tonneson?
were, 12 has nothing to do with 10. It's a separate business. Is that correct?
Well,
You mean
12's
10 or
not,
12?
that's
What do
not
you
an
mean by
issue in
this?
front of us today. We're only dealing
Yeah.
with what happened at 10.
10, yeah, this is all 10 right here. You can, I don't know if everybody want to look at it or whatever.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So it's not just any one business we go to all to keep
I
everybody
understand.
safe.
Yeah,
But
no,
we
we're
have-
just dealing-
we only have a license at 10.
Sorry. Yes.
Do you know what the capacity is for that?
At this moment, I do not at this time.
All right.
Because I just got called here literally
No, I understand.
maybe
No,
15 or 20 minutes ago.
I'm not trying to trick you or anything.
Yes.
But, I mean, would it be fair to say that I see here annual permits saying that it looks like for the first and second floor, it's 340 people?
Put together 340? Yes.
Okay. And when you were there, so you didn't take any body count? It was just a sense
No,
that you
it-
had and you saw people in the
It's
stairwells?
very unsafe with the smoking. And when I got there was not a count outside.
Okay.
So you want to have a security guard or somebody you trust, somebody who's not going to leave the front to keep that count. Because that's going to tell you, oh, wait a second, it's 340? So at 3:39, like, nobody else can come in.
But was it, do you know whether it was a private party they had there for John Hopkins?
That's not what I'm worried about.
No, no, no,
If it's a
no,
private
just-
party, I don't know.
I'm just asking the
I-
question.
I don't know, sir.
But I mean, it would seem, when you got there, was the door open or closed? Had they stopped, or you don't know, you just walked in?
Sir, at that moment, it was just so many people outside, trying to get in up the block, in the street. And my objective is just to abate everything, keep it calm before it gets worse.
But there were people outside for both 10 and 12.
Correct, but the
Okay.
line for 10 went up the street. So I know that line was trying to get in.
But you don't know if they were open or not at that point?
What do you mean, open as
No, I
in
mean,
more people
could
coming in?
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I'm
that-
just
this-
asking. If you don't, you don't. I mean, I'm
I
not.
can't recall. I don't
But
wanna say
were
yes
the
or
people
no.
there, they were cooperative when you talked with them?
The owner?
Yeah.
He was cooperative. At the end, he got a little upset, and I get it, because it's his business.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to lose clientele or money, but at the same time, I have to do my job.
No, I got it.
And I explain to everybody, nothing personal. I have to enact with my job, and if I don't, I can be fired, sued, or anything.
So how'd they get the people out of there?
I stayed in pretty much the whole time and helped everybody pretty much leave. I was by myself.
Mm.
Like, I don't,
No, no, but I'm saying is that they, after you said that, no more, and we're going to shut, they were helping to get people out. Is that
So I
correct?
went to the top floor, and I know the DJ said he didn't have a microphone, and I said, listen, just stop playing the music, sir. We have to get people out. There was, to my knowledge, there was no police like pushing anybody, it was just me upstairs. And I was like, guys, it's over. I'm sorry, but it's just not safe tonight. We can reconvene another night or something. And I don't know if it was a private party or not. I don't think about stuff like that. I just think about life safety, honestly.
Did you get any information that they were waiting for some buses to pick these people up, or if you didn't, you didn't?
I don't know
Okay,
about
I have no
that,
further
sir.
questions.
Yeah.
Let me just ask Agent Perez, did you have anything to add to what Mr. Tonneson has told us?
No.
You just arrived and observed that the fire marshal had been there and had shut it down?
Yes,
Step
upon
to the
our
mic.
arrival, I believe the call had been made already, or when I walked into the establishment, the call had been made already, and I saw music to be shut down and just people flowing out the door.
And did you speak to this gentleman here
I did,
and told him that you were going to cite him for that?
yes,
Okay. Do you have any questions for the
Yeah,
agent?
do you know what kind of event was there?
Halloween night event.
They were
People in
dressed up?
customs. Yep.
Wow, that's special.
Did-
But they were cooperative with you?
Yes,
Did
all time.
you know they may make any discussion, they were waiting for buses to pick up these people from John Hopkins, or if you didn't?
No,
Okay. Do you know how they got out of there and went home, or you don't know?
I don't know.
And there was an event next door also?
Yes.
Which doesn't have a liquor license?
Nothing.
Okay. All right, I have nothing further.
Okay. Did you want to present any testimony?
Yeah, why don't you explain what happened here? Give your name.
My name is Justin Hunt, co-owner of Dream at Legacy. That particular night, we had two different events. We had our weekly event on the first floor, and we had a special event for John Hopkins students on the second floor. And as to the fire marshal's testimony, he walked in through the bottom, went up through the top. There was nobody more or less on the bar end. The way the building's set up, there's a dance floor and there's like kind of a bar area. There was practically nobody by the bar area. All the patrons had like kind of huddled on the dance floor. And from speaking to him, he said, hey, can you get some of these people to go from upstairs to downstairs? Because the downstairs was not as crowded. I don't know, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but the downstairs was nowhere near as crowded as upstairs. So he said, hey, can you get some people to go from upstairs to downstairs? Which we was trying to, like, at that moment, to do. We was trying to do that at that moment. Additionally, before he had got there, we had already closed the door down approximately around 11:15 because we were getting close to our number. We did have a clicker outside. And so once we got close to the number, even the police can attest to, when the police got there for next door, which is an unlicensed establishment, which we keep having problems, because every time something happens next door, they associated with us, and we're two separate businesses. So it was next door had 2 security. We had close to 14. I think the inspectors can attest to that as well. We always try to do what we can to help the police and help the public or whoever for next door, because like I said, they don't have a license. We're the ones that always get kind of caught up in the crossfire. The last thing,
You've only had this license for 3 years, and you were here once before on general welfare. What was the issue there?
trash in the back from.
It wasn't overcrowded.
No, not for overcrowded. It was for trash in the back, which we worked out. We got 2 dumpsters that we're paying for, and we're not even open but a couple of days a week. But we're paying for 2 dumpsters because between the homeless, between the apartment building that they put right next to us at now, 14 Calvert Street, that we're getting noise complaints about now because they allowed a use of occupancy to be put right next to us as an apartment building. We're kind of sandwiched between a hall and an apartment building where we're getting all kinds of just static when it's like we're not doing anything
Let
wrong.
me ask this, how did the people from John Hopkins get there?
They came on the John Hopkins shuttle, and so what I expressed to the fire marshal here, one of the reasons why I got upset is because they were putting people out with no way to get home. And so my bigger issue was, and he is right, I was upset, it was more or less, you're gonna put these people, these Hopkins students out on the street with no way to get home in the middle of Baltimore City on a weekend where there's people floating around, and we had already stopped letting people in. We didn't want to disperse the line because that would cause more mayhem. But the police can attest to, we had already cut the line off at approximately 11:15. But we just didn't want to tell people it's over with because we had a line full of people, and I just didn't want people floating around downtown on a holiday weekend because we know how, downtown can get some time. So
I have a question for the fire marshal. Mr. Tonneson, you said that one of the things that concerned you was the amount of smoke in the building. What's the rules about that?
So there's no smoking in buildings.
Oh, within this
No public,
bar?
like you can't smoke in this building.
Right.
No smoking.
And were there people smoking that night?
What he's talking about, there was a gentleman that was on the first floor, and we have our policies, but while we were dealing with him, this guy, he was smoking. And we told him, put it out, like, what are you doing, put it out. He was trying to be kind of like a tough guy, and so we were dealing with him, and when the next fire marshal came in, he kind of did it in front of his face as to be kind of like a wise guy. We have no idea who that guy was. He hasn't been back since. And, that blatant disrespect, like, I can attest that he did it right in front of the fire marshal as kind of like a,
To be a jerk.
To be a jerk. That's the easiest way to say
Used to
it.
say that at the football games, everything but what?
Don't be a jerk.
Okay.
As far as an open flame in there, they can have an open flame with regard to if they had candles and so forth, is that correct?
If it's on the permit.
Yeah, if it says approved candles on dining tables? Okay, all right, I'm no further.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
Yes, you have Mr. Chair, so you have a counter at the door that counts how many customers come in?
Yes, sir. And I actually have a text message log from every single night we're open. Our head of security sends us that number to exactly for these kind of situations. So I have that going back almost the 2 years we've been open.
And you weren't over capacity on that day?
To my knowledge, no, not the number we got. Like, we already cut the door off at 11:15.
And I do have a question to the fire marshal. Like, I still didn't hear like an objective standard when you said that you just felt unsafe, and I felt like you stated that the outdoor population contributed to that, and I just didn't hear is there an objective standard to your citing that there's unsafe conditions, especially when you didn't see that there were over you don't know the capacity and you don't know if there
I'm
were
not sure of the
capacity?
capacity because they didn't have a clicker that I could see. If they did, and it would have been under, it wouldn't have been as bad of an issue. Or when everybody's in one area at the same time and nobody's listening, it just seemed unsafe. So unsafe could be too many people in the exitway, too many people in the stairway, too many people congregated in one area of the building. So the capacity is 300 total?
340.
340. So if 340 on one floor, but the capacity is 160, that's unsafe. That's why I mentioned, please, can you move some people downstairs or upstairs or whatever?
But you don't know if they were over capacity?
It was unsafe to
You
me.
just felt that way? Okay.
I felt it personally, and I didn't want to go home that night and something happened, because anything happened any time in this world. It doesn't have to be Baltimore, it could be Idaho. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, especially college students who are trying to graduate and become politicians, lawyers, doctors, and everything, correct? So,
Fire marshals.
well, they're gonna be smarter than me, and I understand that, and I accept that, but it just didn't feel safe. And like I said, I just wanted to close it down tonight, party tomorrow, start over, because it's just that night is one of the biggest party nights of the city. I probably went to 2 or 3 other places, and it was
Understood.
kind of the same type thing.
Okay, no other questions?
Okay.
Mr. Chair, was the bar closed when you were there?
Was it
The overcrowding?
closed?
Yeah, were they serving customers when you,
Oh, I don't know about the alcohol, I just was dealing with the people.
okay.
Anything further?
Nothing further.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, I'm going to find a violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, because, and I'll explain this to you, I think when the liquor board arrives and the fire marshal has been there and the fire marshal has closed the place down, we have a violation. So I think we have sufficient, the agent had sufficient basis at that point to make the violation. Now, I take into account your explanation, and I don't think that we should be very harsh in this situation. I appreciate that the fire marshal was trying to keep people safe on a very difficult night, and he made a judgment call, and I'm not questioning his judgment call. I think you guys were trying to stay within the rules, and you had some jerk on your premises who was trying to flaunt them. So I would impose a $200 fine, and I'd give you 30 days to pay it.
Yes, based on testimony we provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings. A violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, on October 29, 2003, with a fine of $200.
Based on the violation report and heavily based on the testimony given today and in the proffer by counsel, I do disagree though on this one. I don't see the violation because I don't see an objective standard given by the fire marshal on this one. So I don't see the violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare.
Okay, thank you. So, Ms. Russell?
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Agent Perez.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Good luck. Thank you, Marshall.
Take care.
Yes, it was Mr. Hunt.
Captain House Bar and Tavern, 1506 Captain Avenue, Class BD7. Beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.20, small c, prohibited activities by license type, Class BD7 licenses, open and operating tavern at all times, October the 27th, 2023. Mr. Chairman.
Good morning. Are you Mr. Sanders, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and are you Ms. Lee? Okay, and you obviously are Inspector Brown. Will you all raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Inspector, you want to tell us what you observed on October 27?
Yes, so approximately 1:45, I went into the establishment to see if it was fully operating. And upon my arrival, the gentleman that was at the cashier, let me read my report. Upon entering the establishment, I, Inspector Brown, found the lights to be off and a petition was blocking the entry to the tavern. The tavern was being used as a storage area. I also found that the 3-compartment sink was to be empty. I, Inspector Brown, spoke to employee Young Chung Jin, identified by his Maryland driver's license, and I advised that his tavern needs to be open and operating at all times. While conducting an inspection, I observed liquor bottles on the floor of the bar area. I advised Mr. Jing that inventory must be 6 inches off the floor. Inspector Brown informed Mr. Jing that he would be receiving a violation for the tavern being not open and operating and for inventory all over the floor. I, Inspector Brown, left the establishment without further incident.
Mr. Sanders, do you have any questions for the inspector before you testify?
No, I do not.
You want to tell us what happened?
Mr. Chairman, basically, the liquor establishments, delivery people, they leave the liquor sitting right in the middle of the bar a lot of times. The bar is open fully. I don't know why the lights were off or the sinks weren't filled, but we also store the breakage behind the bar that goes back to the liquor companies. The The petition is a real minor thing. It's trifold, it's a trifold, and it's to keep the people from outside, the homeless and all, for using the place as a public restroom. But the bar is fully open. We have pictures that we can show you. We have another inspector that came in a month or so afterwards, which said everything was fine. We've taken care of whatever that needed to be taken care of.
So you don't know why the lights were off and why the petition was blocking the entrance?
During that time of day, we usually don't have any patrons on that side. We have the Keno machine, racetrack, and all that's on the bar side. I would say Mr. Jing probably forgot to cut the lights on to that area. Usually he comes in, all the lights are on.
Did he explain any of that to you?
His English is not that well.
No.
If Ms. Lee had been there, she could have explained everything to her. But Mr. Jing is very limited in his English language. So we've had the place for a while. We've had no liquor violations.
That's true.
Right.
Commissioners have any questions?
Yeah, were they selling carryout? Were you selling carryout at the time?
He was selling carryout at the time, yes.
No questions.
Okay. On the basis that the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.20, small c, on October 27, 2023. I think what the inspector observed led her reasonably to believe that you weren't fully open and operating at that time. And she didn't get a reasonable explanation. So I think there was a basis for her citing the violation. I do take into account that you've had this license since 2015, and you've had no violations previously. And if that is your process that you're following, you have to be much more clear about that with us.
Well, unfortunately, Mr. Jing's English, like I said, is very limited.
Right.
If Ms. Lee had been there, she could have explained it to Inspector Brown. And then I'm quite sure we wouldn't even be here today.
Maybe not. Anyway, I'm going to impose a $200 fine. I'll give you 30 days to pay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, based on testimony provided today, I agree with the chair's findings. A violation of Rule 4.20C, prohibited activities by licensee type, Class BD 7 license, open and operating taverns at all times on October 27th with a fine of $200.
Based on the statement given today and the violation report, I too find a violation of Rule 4.20C, prohibited activities by licensee, open and operating tavern at all times on October 27, 2023. Issue a $200 fine and 30 days to pay.
Ms. Russell?
Might call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Violation Report, Inspector Brown. Board Exhibit 2, BLLC, Compliance Report, Inspector Chase, dated 12/28/23.
All right, thank you, folks. Good luck.
Can I have that?
You gave
she back?
You wanted it? Can we return it?
I just gave it to y'all to take a look at. Another
you didn't
inspector
want it in
came
the
in and said
record?
everything was
Okay.
fine.
So,
You can keep it, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
We gave it to you in the first place, right?
We got enough.
ACO Liquors, 2700 West Fairmount Avenue, Class BD7, Beer, Wine, and Liquor License. Here for violation of Rule 4.20C, prohibited activities by license type, Class BD7 licenses, open and operating at tavern at all times on October the 27th, 2023. A violation of Rule 3.09, restroom facilities and health regulations, October the 27th, 2023. Mr. Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensee. To my right is Mr. Juan Park, who is the son of the licensee, Pio Ak Park. He was the person in charge on the day of the offense.
Would these be admissions or denials?
Admissions of both violations.
Okay. Do you want me to have them sworn anyway?
Sure.
Okay. Raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Mr.
Thank you. Mr. Park was working alone at the time, and he let the place get a little bit out of hand. There was storage materials in the bar area. The one sink had water in it, but nobody was in it. It was 1:30 in the afternoon, and the bathrooms were pretty
Have they been fixed?
atrocious. Inspector, you were there the other day and
I was there
cleaned it up?
yesterday, yes.
The
Very
bathrooms are
clean.
back and operating, everything's okay?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've discussed with Mr. Park about considering an A7 if that is going to be back in play, Mr. Paige?
Sorry.
A7s are going to be back in play?
A7s are in.
Okay, so I'm going to discuss with the family when Ms. Park gets back from Korea about perhaps them considering the A7, and we wouldn't have to deal with this type of violation ever again.
Okay.
With regard to their history, I would...
They're all sales to minors.
Yeah, it was all sales to minors, and then if you look on the last page of your packet, on their computer screen from the board's data, they had 2 letters of commendation back in 18 and 19, subsequent to the minor violations that they did not serve. So, I do note that the other violations, other than the 18, are quite old, and that this is the first of this violation, and they've seemed to clean up any issue that they previously had with minors. Thank you.
Okay, commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. Based on the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel, including the admissions of the 2 violations and the testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.20, small c, prohibited activities on October 27, 2023, and a violation of Rule 3.09, restroom facilities and health regulations on October 27, 2023. They do have a history of sales to minor violations. This is the first time on these issues, so I would impose $250 fines as to each of these and give them 30 days to pay.
Yes, based on the testimony provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings. The violation of Rule 4.20C, prohibit activities and license, type Class BD7, license, open and operating tavern at all times on October 27th, $250 fine. And also in violation of Rule 3.09, restroom facilities and health regulations on October 27th, 2023, also with a fine of $250.
Based on the violation report made by council today, I too find a violation of Rule 4.20C, prohibited acts by license type, but open operating tavern at all times on October 27, 2020, excuse me on that one. I find a violation of the same rule, 4.20C, prohibited activities by license type, open and operating tavern at all times, October 27, 2023, and issue a $250 fine, 30 days of pay. I was reading from the other violation. And also find a violation of Rule 3.09, restroom facilities and health regulations on October 27, 2023, and also issue a $250 fine and 30 days of pay.
Thank you.
Ms. Russell?
I call this for the record. Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
so
luck.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Page, is that our docket?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. The board is in recess until Thursday, January the 25th, 2024, 10:30 a.m. We are adjourned.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, cadets. If you're still here.
Yes.
And Happy New Year, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.